Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, everyone. I'm the American Anchor Baby. This is my show. Appreciate you tuning in. We're about to get going here. We got plenty to get into. Gonna get into some stuff here. I'll be piggybacking off of Hake a little bit on his show. There's some clips and stuff. We'll do that real quick. It'll be a nice lunchtime show, easy listening. We'll get into some stuff, and it might just get a little deep. I want to talk about the Steve Harvey thing. I know it's silly, gossip and all that, but trust me, it's good. It's nothing messy. It's really, I find it interesting. A couple of things going on with Steve Harvey. You know Steve Harvey, a model of male, masculine, black excellence, okay? I've been actually watching... some of you might know I'm the blackest one here, but still being the blackest one on the Bond Network, which, you know, the title's up for grabs, guys. You guys, you could fight for it, but it's mine apparently. And I don't know, being the blackest one, but I didn't know anything about Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey, so I've been watching a little bit of that. I just happen to be around someone who's watching it, and it's pretty good. But yeah, those are like some male role models for Black America, I think, at least to some. And this amazing story of a 14-year-old killer, which really demonstrates a lot about the world, what the Bond Network is talking about, what Jesse Lee Peterson has pointed the way towards, so that we may all discover for ourselves, right? So it should be a nice show. Make sure you drop that like, that subscribe here on YouTube. Help that, let's game the algorithm, meaning the audience. Let's game the system and let's get the word out there, right? So appreciate it if you drop that like, that subscribe here on YouTube. It helps a lot if you like the stream. If you comment in the chat right now live, if you comment in the video after the fact, all of that helps. It's one way you could help. If you're not super chatting right now, like I see some of you in the chat, I'll get to you guys as well. You guys rock. But first, I have to thank everybody over at Rumble. The party's going. I see you guys there. Hake Report, Being Enlightened Till I Rise have chimed in. I'm sure the rest of you are just over there at the Rumble party. You guys are over in standing on the wall, looking at your phones, not really talking, but you guys are at the party. So appreciate you confronting your anxiety and going to the party. Right on. So, we'll be doing all that, and of course, your calls, 888-775-3773, if you want to jump in the line there. Much appreciated. So, I got some super chats already. You guys killing it. Thank you. We got DH, back-to-back super chats, says, can you please read John 3:16 to let Jesse know who to believe in? And remember, alphas play RuneScape, betas play World of Warcraft. You heard it here first, folks. Thanks, DH. Please read John 3:16 to let Jesse know who to believe in. Wait, what's John 3:16 say again? Is that the one for God so loved the world? For God so loved the world. Wait, should I do it like that little black kid, Bible Thumper Thursday? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish. Okay, that's silly. But have everlasting life. What do you mean by that, DH? Maybe you want to ask Jesse tomorrow in whom to believe in. My bad. Maybe you want to ask Jesse tomorrow. That's Bible Thumper Thursday on the Jesse Lee Peterson Show every Thursday. You don't want to miss it. Lots of fun. We had some Bible Thumper Wednesday even today a little bit. Da Vinci with the Super Chat says, Nick has to come out with a Zelensky collection. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you commenting on the Zelensky right now. I got the Winter Zelensky on. I got the designer Winter Zelensky on. You know, I have my Zelensky line. You know, considering that I bear a striking resemblance to the man, I hope that compels you to donate. For the battle we must win is a great one that requires much taxpayer money. So thank you for that. You guys are in the chat. What's up, everybody? Matthew, Lizzie, David, Johnny, Becca, Matthew, Kilo, Raymond, Big, Spoiler, Gregory, Hake, and everybody else. What's up, Lizzie? Jose, that's a name I haven't seen. War Chief, and everybody else, welcome. So I wanted to jump into some just silly stuff here. The Hermoso Kissgate. You heard about this. Heard about it on the Hake Report, I'm sure. Have you guys been getting any work done with the Bond Network going so hard already? It's been not a moment to waste here. Filling up every hour so far. Pretty nice. So, for those who haven't been working and been listening, and for those who maybe have been working and paying attention a little bit to the network, you may have heard this story of Jenny Hermoso, Spanish soccer player. You heard about this mess, the Kissgate. They're calling it Kissgate. They're calling it Kissgate. Tremendous. And this Luis Rubiales, who just grabbed her face and planted a smooch. They're calling it an unwanted kiss, okay? And it's a big mess because it's supposed to be men and the patriarchy, and it's just no more. They're saying, se acabó. They're chanting and yelling, it's over. Enough of this male-dominated sexism, that world that would create such a moment like this. This mentality would only exist in such a sexist world where a man thinks he could just grab a woman's face and kiss her like that, right? So that's kind of the story right now. I wanted to bring it up again because despite Hake bringing it up, because there's a couple things here, and it kind of fits the show. It's thematic, okay? I love being thematic. And so if you don't know, this is the Spanish they call it, Spanish FA chief, Spanish Football Association chief, okay? Something like that. And, you know, he's the guy. He's the dude. He's the dude. Here he is. That's him right there. With the Norwood, Norwood 5, Norwood beyond, is 5 nothing? Is Norwood 5 bald? Or is he just pretending? But this is the moment where he grabbed her head and just smooched her. Okay? And so they're asking him to resign. And so the just to be quick here, let's move along a little faster here in the story. Basically, the story goes, it's FIFA. FIFA has suspended him, okay? But the Spanish Federation, Federation of Soccer over there in Spain is standing behind him. And so FIFA is saying, this guy's got to go. He's saying, I'm not going to stand down. The organization is standing behind him, despite the 19 other coaches and presidents of the Spanish RFA, the Football Association. They're saying, they recently came out saying that he needs to resign. So those are the parties involved: FIFA, the Spanish Football Association, and the presidents of the association. So Luis Rubiales is saying he won't stand down after this kiss. All the calls for him to resign. And so that's the story, right? You got the ladies. They're saying, se acabó. No more of this misogyny, sexism. You got FIFA saying he's got to stand down, suspended him, and you got the Spanish Football Association who's defending Rubiales, but then the other presidents of that association have recently come out, all of them unanimously saying he's got to stand down. And the reason it matters here is because we live in a female-dominated world, and the men, pretty much around the globe, are showing too much respect, okay? And what I mean by that is, like in a fight, when you cover yourself or you stay away from a certain position, you're showing your opponent respect, right? If you just keep your hands down, it's a disrespect, right? Like, oh, hit me, I dare you, okay? And the guys, the men, we're conceding ground and showing respect in the wrong way, okay? And what we're respecting is this sort of tyrant mentality behind that's militant tyrants that the women have become. Okay, so if you follow me so far, is what I'm getting at. So we'll do this real quick. I wanted to show you. Well, you heard about the mom, right? The mom is apparently on a hunger strike, saying she's on a hunger strike. You know, the Luis Rubiales' mother. They're saying she's on a hunger strike. This is the church that she's locked herself in, saying she will not eat due to all the, she's calling it all this backlash against her son, that it's inhumane treatment, how they're treating her son. And so these are shots in Montreal, Spain. Apparently, the lady, the mother, she's in there somewhere. And you have like the news just posted outside with cameras. It's just funny to me. Out here, hoping to get a glimpse of the mother.
De la iglesia, que su familia estamos sufriendo muchísimo por él.
This is the cousin speaking in that castellano, with that castellano español, with a little lisp, so she sounds very fancy. And she's saying, this has been very tough for us.
Que no quiere salir de la iglesia.
She doesn't want to leave the church.
Que su familia estamos sufriendo muchísimo.
And that her family, their whole family is suffering so much, which is so silly. It's just her son. That's just what her son's going through. That's just something her son is going through, not the world, not her family, nobody else. But it's emblematic a little bit of the female spirit I'm talking about today. It's not happening to her, but she takes on the pain in this very motherly way, which is very false, because they call it love. They call this love. I'm going to lock myself up in a church. I'm going to say we're all feeling so much pain and my son is being treated so inhumanely and all that. But that emotion, what caused the mother to act in this way, we call love. Women call it love. Men call it love. And it's not. And so that's why this is important. Okay? And so what did the men do? Well, Luis Rubiales is saying he's not going along with this. Not only is he not resigning, he's not at fault. And the RFEF is agreeing with him. This Royal Federación Español Fútbol, something like that. Spanish Football Federation. Well, they've issued a statement in response to the whole thing, because Jennifer Hermoso is saying it was an unwanted kiss and blah, blah, blah. Which, by the way, this is turning into a criminal investigation. Amazing. So, the RFEF put out 4 photos. You take this in. So they put out 4 photos because they're saying there's another side to the story. They're saying that it wasn't an unwanted kiss. Okay? The version of Mr. President's facts is contrasted in the internal files that have been opened. And to prove that the facts exposed by Mr. President, Luis Rubiales, are absolutely true and that he is not lying. And what is he not lying about? Is he's saying it was consensual. RFEF then says here, we're going to begin providing them in this statement with the images that accompany it. So it's these next following 4 images that, according to this Federation, Football Federation, they're saying this is proof that it was not an unwanted interaction. Now, I don't know if this is proof, y'all, But this is photo one where she's embracing him. Miss Jennifer Hermoso with her arms grabs Mr. President of the RFEF from behind while Mr. President has his arms loose on the upper back of the player. Therefore, no force could be exerted. Photo two. It's funny how they're doing this whole deep investigation. 4 photos. Miss Jennifer Hermoso keeps her arms around the president's back. Mr. President keeps his arms on the player's upper body. It can be seen how Mr. President already has his heels much higher. And what they're referring to is his heels are up in the air a little bit. They're trying to describe how it wasn't him that was exerting force, but it was her picking him up in a display that proves it was all consensual, according to the RFEF, right? You see in this next photo, he's up, his legs are up in the air. I guess she's pretty strong, but I mean, you don't have to be that strong to pick up another person in this way. Maybe for an extended period of time, if they were like a rag doll, like passed out, maybe it would be harder for the woman here to pick him up. But she's doing a pretty good job here, huh? Miss Hermoso continues to keep her arms in the same position. So they're just proving here, basically, the RFEF, that it was consensual. So I don't know, y'all. It's all silly, and I really don't care about this interaction. It's between them, and it could be that it was, you know, unwanted and too far, and so then he should, I don't know, say sorry to her specifically, but that's between them. But it could also be seen as just a celebration that, in my opinion, just kind of went too excited. Too excited, right? Oh, my God, we won! Give me a kiss, you amazing soccer player. And especially over there, Europe, Spaniards. I remember one time I was at the Baltimore House. It was a bar in Hamilton, Ontario. And there was a friend of mine. She introduced me to another friend of hers. And I don't know what came over me. I don't know. I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing? And I did like a little ethnic. I didn't call it that ethnic, but I gave her a little smooch on the cheek, right? I was like, oh, hello, nice to meet you. And she was like, ooh, ethnic. It was really silly. I don't even know why I'm telling you this. It's kind of cringy. But hey, not all women see it as an unwanted kiss, because she sure didn't. Anyways, silliness. But here's the point too. It's the fact that these 19 presidents then came out to say this guy needs to resign and that it is wrong because, and their reasoning was that this whole situation has made a mockery of Spanish football. And a little thing that gets me about this whole story is really just that. You have these men, these presidents, colleagues of this guy, showing way too much respect where it's not needed or necessary to the female mafia. You know what I mean? Because everybody knows it's like a mafia. You say the wrong thing, you say the wrong thing, believe the wrong thing, don't support the right thing. The mafia comes after you. The media, everybody who's involved, they come after you, okay? And it's so silly because don't these female athletes, if they wanted to be, you could say, well, they're all competing just amongst each other, so it's just women competing. But really, the whole thing, women athletics, especially at that level, is kind of a masculine thing, despite them all kind of going up against each other. So it's like, you ladies want to play with the boys or do boy things? Sometimes that's going to come out wrong. I'm just saying that you shouldn't be so offended. You can't be so thin-skinned, okay? You know what I mean? So, anyways, that's what I wanted to just say about it real quick. And to show the part that wasn't reported, that the RFEF is defending Luis Rubiales. And this photo, the smoking gun photo, is him with his little legs up in the air being picked up by this beast, Jennifer Hermoso. But honestly, just men, what is this? What is with this misplaced respect to the female mafia? You don't need to. If those presidents just didn't do that, and let Luis handle his thing. Because my thing is not even the situation between Hermoso and Luis Rubiales. It's the net negative effect that these presidents and their decision and their response to the story is doing to the world. They're putting it out there, that spirit. They're just bolstering that female mafia, and that's destroying the world. So kind of evil, right? But it's for the moolah, because they are respecting the female mafia. And the female mafia hits you where it hurts, the pocket. Gets you fired, canceled, gets your advertisers pulled, etc., etc. You know what I'm saying? And, truth, the common man, etc., takes another hit. Okay. But speaking of all this mess with the women and all that, speaking of mess, women, and men showing way too much respect to the mob, to the mafia, to women, I want to talk about Steve Harvey. Okay? You heard about Steve. Steve was in the news with some messy rumors. They're calling it rumors. Tremendous rumors. Okay? Of his wife, Marjorie. Marjorie Harvey? What's her name? What name did she choose here? Wait a sec. Hold up. I need to do a little Google. I need to ask Uncle Google a little question. Hey, Uncle Google, what's Steve Harvey's wife's last name? That shouldn't even be a question. Marjorie Harvey. What if I type in Marjorie Harvey? Who is Steve Harvey's wife? Steve Harvey and Marjorie Harvey. Right on, Marjorie Harvey. That's your correct last name. I say this because it's way too common to find these celebrities, really people in general, but especially, masculine celebrities. They'll have a wife who didn't want to take their last name. And we all know that's never a good sign. That's never a good sign when a woman doesn't want to take your last name because she wants to be an individual or something. No, that's a joke. But she is already kind of showing a distaste, a dislike of God's beautiful order in which you two become one and the wife follows the husband as he is her head. Isn't that so beautifully represented? When you happily take his last name, so right on, Marjorie Harvey, for being a great example. Is that bar a little low? Is the bar a little low, fellas? So anyways, I don't know too much about them. I'm sure she's a nice lady. But Steve Harvey, you know about this. There was rumors that his wife, Marjorie, had cheated on Steve Harvey with their bodyguard and personal chef. Okay, so that was the rumor floating around. And people were like, is he going to address it? Are they going to address it? They need to address it. They need to talk about it. It needs to be talked about. And finally, it seems like they did. Now, I'll just tell you right now, they're saying it's not real. It's rumors. It's not real. It's all not real. And Steve Harvey's wife came out, and now, so the story goes that Steve Harvey came out and said it was some social media person that he seemingly fired who caused all this. It's unclear how, but there's a video where Steve Harvey's explaining that. We'll play that in a second here. But I first want to talk about Steve Harvey's wife and her response to this whole thing, because she addressed these rumors that she cheated on Steve Harvey with the bodyguard and personal chef, right? And she's saying it's all foolishness and lies, okay? But the way she did it is interesting. Now, they've been married apparently since 2007, okay? And she slammed the accusations in a post shared to Instagram, okay? She uploaded a screenshot of a website entitled How to Handle Being Lied About, which contained a quote from the Bible. Isn't that nice? So she went to Uncle Google as well. She, too, went to Uncle Google for answers, and she happened upon a website. This is them. This is Steve Harvey and Marjorie. She, too, went to Uncle Google with a question. The question was, how to handle being lied about, apparently. And she found her answer. Yeah. She found God on Google. I don't blame her. I found God on YouTube. Isn't that amazing? I rejected God in church, and then I found God on YouTube. What the? But anyways, how to handle being lied about. She posted this on her Instagram. Let me copy this tab so I can read this and you guys can see what I'm looking at. So this is her Instagram post, already kind of emotional, with a sunset, the twilight, with a message here that says, how to handle being lied about, with a Bible quote that's from, it's 1 Peter, or is it 1 Peter, chapter 2, verse 23? And it reads, when they hurled their insults at him, he did not retaliate. When he suffered, he made no threats. Instead, he entrusted himself to him who judges justly. Right on, Marjorie, for, going to the word instead of going with evil. As she posts on the same Instagram. This is the comment here. She posts a link to that website. It's a ministry, how to handle being lied about. And she writes, my husband and I don't usually stop to address all the foolishness and lies that have been spread about us. However, to whom much is given, much is required. Understand that with my platform comes some sort of responsibility to those that may not be as strong as we are. Read and share this with your loved ones and that may not know how to properly cope. God bless all of you. I mean, I find this so ridiculous. It's a little silly because I know she's saying, oh, Nick, but she's saying she's handling being lied about. She's being strong. She's saying, she's going along. She's doing what 1 Peter says. When they hurled insults at him, he did not retaliate. And here she is just being strong. How can you have any problem with this, Nick? Says the voice, says the apparition next to me. But this is not strength, okay? This is pure ego. This is pure ego in the very female spirit I'm talking about, okay? Because she's saying here, do not retaliate. And she's praising this verse here. But what she's doing here is that very thing. She is retaliating. She is defending the ego here. She is defending her image here. She is defending the ego. She is doing not what 1 Peter is talking about. It's the opposite. Okay? And she says, I don't usually stop to address all the foolishness. So then what made you do that now? How come you were so strong before? She says, however, whom is required, I understand that my platform comes some sort of responsibility. And to that I say, lady, who made you God? Who made you God that you are that you are entrusted and in charge of the salvation or whatever these peoples that you're talking about, their ability to cope? You're supposed to be this example of marriage, I'm gathering, because she's saying that people that may not be as strong as we are, so that they may cope. So are you saying that you're this example of a marriage, and without that, people are going to go out of control? Could they, if they were to believe such a nasty rumor? Wait, Steve and Marjorie? Bro, they're cheating? No, the world is over, and so I might as well go out of control. What an ego on this woman. What an ego. You're not a God. You're not in charge of them in that way. You know what I'm saying? So, she's doing exactly the opposite, and in fact, showing weakness. And I want to describe more of what I mean there, but before I do that, I have to show you. Oh, wait, hold on. I want to see what you guys are saying in the chat. What's up, everybody? What are you guys saying in the chat? You guys following? Hake is the tip of the spear. Right on. Bob Dillo. Agreed. So, anyways, before I describe more of what I mean here with Marjorie, I want to show you Steve and his response. So he put out a statement, okay? And it seems like he fired someone over this. So let's watch Steve's response here before I finish this up. We're on. This is the Breakfast Club video. They played it. In fact, we'll play some of the Breakfast Club's comments after, because these are men on this podcast, the Breakfast Club, with a big black audience, and they have a lot of people they influence and all that. So maybe we'll play some of their comments too. But let's hear what Steve Harvey had to say about this.
Steve Harvey responded to the tweet.
All right, I got to take some time to address this here. I came down here to get away, get in some nature, do some fishing. Somebody works for me on my Twitter, put a statement out that was totally negative. I got to take responsibility for it because they work for me. But the engagement was talking about name a comedian you don't think is funny. Why would I do something like that? That don't even make no damn sense. My whole brand is to be motivational. And I'm going to turn around and say something like that. You don't know where these young people at in their career, man. They could be coming up in anything. I'm all about positivity. I would have never done nothing like that. I'm so pissed off right now, man. Talking about I was trying to get some engagement. Okay, you trying to get some employment too. My bad, y'all. Now I got to come on here and do something, doing a damn selfie. So here it is. I'm sorry. My bad, y'all. Won't happen again, though.
Drop on the clues bombs.
So yeah. It's still kind of unclear to me. He said that his social media guy was trying to get some engagement, and from the sounds of it, the way he was trying to get engagement is by chirping at or insulting another comedian. But that still doesn't quite tell me how's that involved with the rumor and all that. But anyways, Steve Harvey made the little video. He commented, gave his take. He says he's all about motivational and like positivity, like his brand and all that. And and so he had to fire him because, people are counting on him, basically. His brand and the way his message, his brand, people are counting on him. So he has to address it. He has to address it. And it's funny, I'm hearing the comments of this Breakfast Club video, and I'm reading the comments. The top ones all agree. They're saying, I'm glad Steve Harvey addressed it before it got out of hand. Just because y'all didn't hear it don't mean other people didn't hear it. Sometimes you have to confront the enemy before it destroys you. And so many more comments just like that. But that one right there is enough for me to describe what I'm talking about here, because it's saying you have to confront the enemy before it destroys you. But what is it about that Steve Harvey's do here is confronting the enemy? It doesn't really seem like that to me. I wouldn't call that confronting the enemy. And if it's such an interesting way to think about this comments language for a second. The language used saying, confront the enemy before it destroys you. In context with this thing, what they're saying is so if Steve Harvey didn't address this, then he would be destroyed. It kind of brings into question, how do these people see strength and morality and stuff? How do they see that? Because how can lies destroy a good person? Or how can lies destroy someone who's not of the liar? You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe it doesn't have to be that deep, but how can someone be someone who's not, if it's a lie, why would it destroy you? And if it's not a lie, it doesn't even have to destroy you. We'll get into that in a moment. But you know what I see? These comments say, oh, so glad you did it. So glad you're setting a good example. So glad you addressed it before the rumors destroyed you. That's how they see it. But you know how I see it? Now I know. I heard Steve Harvey there, and now I know what his weakness is. Now I know what he cares about. Now I know his weakness. And he doesn't realize what he just did. Because I'm aware and I'm paying attention. And don't be fooled. Demons, entities, Satan is aware of these things too. Your enemy, okay? And of what I'm talking about, okay? And the enemy is paying attention too. And Steve Harvey doesn't realize that in his response video there, we could see, at least those of us who are paying attention, we could see his nervous system and the way it was reacting to the world. I could see it. And if I was his enemy, I would now know his weakness. I now know what he cares about. Now I know that your image is important. Your brand is important. Now I know that your marriage image is important, how people perceive your marriage, that people see it a certain way. Now I have insight into you. I have insight into what you care about. And the judgmental world is like water, okay? It will find the cracks. And so Steve Harvey and many men like him, I don't think realize that they are not tough, and you're not putting out, you're just showing your weakness to people, actually. You're showing what, you're showing, you're showing what you care about, okay? And he's supposed, Steve Harvey, you guys have, some of you have probably seen his show and all that. He's like supposed to be this male role model. And I think I've turned him into a manhood, like a manhood hour video that you guys have probably seen numerous times, where he's crying and saying, yeah, I don't know how to tell you. He's talking to another man who's crying and can't help himself but cry. And Steve Harvey's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you about that, man. I cry too. You guys know the video I'm talking about? So 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎 in the chat says, Nick, lies destroy, especially when you're already a target. How so, 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎? How can they destroy? What do you mean by destroy? Destroy what? 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎 says also, Nick, yeah, somebody's starting some chit, I guess he's saying like lies, and he's not letting that happen because he'd get canceled. Lies destroy. But what would get destroyed, 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒏? It sounds like you're describing, what you're saying is what would be destroyed in Steve Harvey would be his reputation, his public image, his career and show. And if so, maybe that's not such a bad thing. I'm not saying, men, go out there and nuke your life. That's not what I'm saying here. But I'm responding to 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒏, who's in my chat right now. He's saying lies destroy. Lies. He's saying not only lies destroy, but that 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒏 is praising Steve Harvey for not letting letting that happen, because he would get canceled and lies destroy. And if I'm following 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒏 here, it sounds to me like he's saying what would get destroyed in this situation is not Steve Harvey himself, but his reputation, his public image, how people see him, all the things he cares about. I think his employees, maybe. What do you mean, Hake? I'm just saying that that might not be such a good thing. That might be an opportunity. His employees, maybe, if he lost money. Interesting. I didn't think about that. I really didn't think about that. But and so I guess defending your business and all that is one thing. But that still doesn't take away from the fact that his response and the way he's talking, I think, there's still a way to, there's still a way to dispel these rumors without going on and saying, I'm so angry, my image is this, how dare you, da-da-da. And then your wife going around telling people that that they're supposed to be this example, and that, you're showing your enemy your weakness. You're showing them what you care about, right? And it might be an opportunity, because you should overcome that. Now, there's a time and place for all things. I'm not telling you, all men at home, I'm not telling you, it's time, now go home and go to work or whatever and go nuke your lives. Go nuke your business or whatever, because there's people that probably depend on you maybe. Let's say you're a business owner. You have employees. There's a way to operate, right? There's a right way to operate. Right time and place for all things. But I still think that this is true. I think, man, we show way too much respect to this mafia, where he thinks he has to, I guess, defend the ego. I think it's enough to say it's a lie. Those rumors are lies, and that's it. I wonder what you guys think. What's up, Carver? Be fit to be fit. Welcome, welcome. It's a story as old as time. says Matthew. Right on, man. Thank you. Matthew says, lies do destroy. Look at Jesus' path. He told the truth, yet the Pharisees, who were regarded as the social credit experts, canceled Jesus and sent him to Rome's judge. But Matthew, they lied about Jesus, yeah. The Pharisees, and they lied, and they crucified him, all that, but is Jesus destroyed? Did they destroy Jesus? I don't think so. Anyways, I got a call. Nathan, Illinois, you're on the air. Appreciate your call.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you, buddy?
Hey, what's up? Go ahead.
All right. So I'm at a little bit of a fork in the road, employment-wise. And so
you said what wise? I missed that word. You said what wise?
Employment.
Following. Go ahead.
So I've got an opportunity in front of me to become an officer in the armed forces. So I was wondering, I've heard Jesse speak about the military, and he says don't get into it.
Okay.
At this point in time. But in my opinion, I see a great opportunity to sort of change the precedent of what's going on and do things like be able to lead men effectively. Hopefully no women, but.
And so you're being presented with the opportunity to join the military.
Yeah.
And your mentality going in, I mean, you haven't decided yet, but you're thinking if you do go in, your mentality going in would be to change the military?
Not to change the military, but that I could not necessarily change. That's not what I meant.
Okay.
That I could lead men very effectively, which I don't know how many men out there at this time are doing so. So I was just like, I don't know.
And when you say you want to lead, you want to go in because you want to lead men effectively. What do you mean? You just want to lead a unit and do stuff, or lead them spiritually. What do you mean by that?
I mean, could be spiritually, but that's not really. I'm not really thinking that far ahead. But totally, like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like I've got a good head on I know I've got a good head on my shoulders. I wouldn't be, like, bitching out if things hit the fan.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah. So I don't know. What's your opinion?
What presented
That's my
your...
question.
Well, I want to kind of hear you out a little bit more because you're telling me you have employment issues. So what happened to previous when you didn't have employment issues?
I've just been seeing in the business world nowadays, man, everything is so feminine. I don't want anything to do with it. Like, all these entry-level jobs are just a joke. Like, lying is encouraged. Like, I don't know.
Gotcha.
Trump needs to get back in office. This economy's horrible. It's such a tight market. Everything I'm finding is just...
I'm following you on how you feel.
Entry-level sales positions. So it's just like... I'm kind of fed up with it.
I'm understanding how you're feeling about the current state of employment and stuff. But what happened? You're saying you're having employment issues now. Is this a new?
No.
Is this something new? Like you got fired, or you left work, or what happened there?
I left work.
And what? Why?
The company lacked integrity.
Okay. And so you just didn't like the company, how it operated.
Not at all, no.
And so how long have you been out of work?
2.5 weeks. Yeah, I've been having interviews and stuff.
And so in those 2 weeks, you came up with the idea to go to the military?
Well, I just thought they texted me. They're like, congratulations on graduating. Would you be interested? I was like, shoot.
Wait, say that again? I missed what you said.
They sent a text, like, congratulations, because I've been interested in going into it before.
So it's not just these 2 weeks that you come up with this idea. You had considered this before, had gone through some sort of process, signed up for this or that, and you got a text reminding you or telling you that this is an option.
Yeah, that's right.
And so now you're considering it. Okay, I'm following. Let me ask you this. So how come you never went to the military before? What stopped you before, I guess?
I thought I'd be better off getting my degree.
Okay. And how old are you, man? I forget.
23.
So, I mean, I know you've heard, you mentioned that you've heard from Jesse and stuff that I don't know if right now is a good time to be in the military and all that. And, you know, I think in my opinion, I think it depends. And it depends on your mentality. And I think if your mentality is, I want to go in and change something, do good or whatever. I mean, I think that's a fine mentality to have in general, like your whole life. But, you know, if you're going in with this expectation that you want to change something, even however small, you might be like disappointed.
Totally.
And I think I know people currently who have some success, and they're like conservatives and all that, and they don't like what's going on, but they've found some success in the military. And what they did is, they don't have any mentality like that. They're going in, they went in, I'm talking about two people I know in particular, and they went in not for combat, nothing like that at all, the farthest thing from it. They went to become engineers. One's in the nursing and all that. So they went in just to get their schooling, you know, to get that paid and become skilled and professional and all that. They wanted to be in there and not fight, and so it was an opportunity to get all that and not be in a combat position. So you got to really think about these things a little bit, you know?
Yeah, something just clicked for me. Like I've always seen myself as a leader, so it's like this could be a great opportunity to hone.
Well, you see what
leadership.
I'm saying? My two friends, they had they didn't just go in like, let's see what happens. Like, no, they were like, I'm just trying to get some school and some skills and, you know.
Right. Totally.
So, I mean, I'm not telling you what to do, but to me, it sounds like, let me just go in and like, I just want to be a leader.
Yeah. Totally.
Like you want to learn the skills and all that to be a leader. It might not be a bad idea.
Absolutely. I may call into Jesse. See what.
Definitely
tomorrow.
don't hesitate to do that too, man.
Yeah.
Don't hesitate to do that. But yeah, just think about what's making you want to do these things.
Yeah, it's not like I'm a bloodthirsty.
Your motivation.
It's like I just want to like I don't want to go like killing people isn't the objective. Like
right.
I want to.
But if you don't think about this, they'll put you in a position like that.
Right.
It's like what's it called? Cannon fodder.
Totally.
So yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just, you know, think about what you're doing here.
All right, bro.
And don't hesitate to call Jesse, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Much appreciated.
For sure. And call me again.
Yeah, I will, buddy. Bye.
Right on, Nathan. Take care. Yeah. What was I saying here? Nice. Right on. Well, I hope Nathan, you see what you need to do. Also, Nathan, if you're listening, if you don't know what to do, do nothing. By the way, that might help too. That's a little thing I know. It's a little thing I know that helps, and I know it's true. If you don't know what to do, Nathan, do nothing. But I don't think it's such a horrible idea. There's still something you can get out of the whole thing, I think. But go in with some awareness. Go in with some awareness, like a little bit of a strategy, right? They say don't plan your life fair. I'm not talking about planning your life, but it's kind of a big decision. And I think going in to the military with a doughy kind of like, you know, I want to change it. But that's not what Nathan was saying. He just wanted to, I guess, be in a squad and lead them. And that's right on. Chabat in the chat is very correct. I would like a little AC. Someone help me out here. Is someone out there? Hit me with that AC, y'all. Come on. Can an anchor baby... Just noticed Nick sweating like 90 going, North. Get that baby some AC, Bill. We got Hake in the building. Can the anchor baby get some AC? So What shall we do next? Thank you, Nada. Thank you, Nada. You got my back. I got a super chat here from Renee. Thank you. Says, didn't he date Cedric, Steve? Wait, what are you talking about? That's some libelous. Is that some libelous, slanderous rumors? I thought we were just talking about dispelling those. Renee, thank you for the super chat. Either way, I don't know. Do you mean Cedric the Entertainer or whatever? Da Vinci with the super chat says, can you speak on Larry Elder and the Breakfast Club? I don't know what this... It's not fresh in my mind. I did watch it. Very interesting. I love Larry Elder. I love that he brought a lot of those hard-hitting, good classic stuff that doesn't get talked about. Fatherlessness, all that. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Hake in the building. It's not fresh in my mind. Can't really comment on it. Obviously, we remember that annoying lady on the Breakfast Club with Larry Elder. And I like that Larry, because he's been talking about these topics for many years, and it didn't seem stale or empty. Larry spoke about it on the Breakfast Club with an almost freshness to it that I enjoyed. Lin Yan Chin with the super chat says, the Mex Report, Tuesday Mex Report with a burrito, back-to-back burrito emojis. Arriba, hola, yo soy Sparkle Blouse del Ankle. Today we will be discussing lack of respect for boundaries. Hola. Lin Yan Chin, man, thanks for the super chat, always. Birdie Bound Brian with the super chat says, this is my perfect voice. Right on, if you know, you know. Thank you, Birdie Bound Brian. That's probably my worst perfect sell impression yet. Let me see if I can. And now I'm perfect. I'll work on my perfect sell impression. Thank you. And spoiler alert with the super chat says, the sweaty Zelensky sounds like a drink. Excuse me, good sir. I'm quite thirsty. What do you have to drink? I'll take a sweaty Zelensky. I'll take a Sweatensky. Anyways, working with what you're giving me here, spoiler alert. Being enlightened till I rise with a Rumble rant says, leaders don't reach the top just to lead. Leaders grow into the position without thinking about it. It's in all men, I think. What do you think, Nick? Dang, being enlightened till I rise. That's super interesting what you're saying. And I think you're onto something here, because anytime I think of a leader, like a real leader, because many people are thrust into it. Many people they fall into that position, and many rise up to it, many don't, whatever. But when I think of like the perfect form of a leader, I think of a person who never wanted to be a leader, but they happen to find themselves in that position, and they do well in that position because they would be the least likely to. And it's that very paradox that makes them such a good leader, because they see what it really takes, and they really truly grow. And in their growth, they're being an example to everybody else, that breeds confidence in others. They see you growing and leading despite being the most unlikely to lead, rising to the occasion. You know what I'm saying? So you're right. Leaders don't want to lead, I think. And then maybe they want to lead. So what the heck do I know? Just kind of rambling here. Thank you for the Rumble rant. Kind of fitting that that I was rambling to a Rumble rant. Being enlightened till I rise. You can support me over there on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. Much appreciated. Okay. Yeah, leaders are only there to serve. Right on. I think that's all the super chat. That's everything. Let me get to another call here. We're going to do this interesting story here in the next hour. We're going to slow it down. We're going to kick back and really get into this next story of a 14-year-old killer. And I think it really demonstrates a couple things here that we've been trying to express here on the Bond Network. And you may know the story a little bit. You may have seen the headline a couple months ago. It was a 14-year-old, and the headlines were like, the sick selfie killer took of himself. And it was this little 14-year-old, blonde, little, not little, but he was like a 14-year-old in a cop car, and he's like a Snapchat selfie of himself, and that was the headlines back then. And I didn't know anything about the story till now, and I didn't realize how interesting it was. But before we get to that, let me get to Robert, Kansas, you're on the air.
Hey, Nick, good afternoon. You hear me, sir?
I'm hearing you just fine. Thanks, Robert.
Good deal. I want to talk about the Lahaina fires, the fire, but I want to say to the last young man who was considering, I'm a veteran, and he's considering going into the military as an officer, and I would just say to him, you know, these are difficult times. However, you know, John 15:13 KGV, right? It says, "Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." So if he thinks that he can do the job and he's going to be a good leader, I think that if he takes care of his soldiers under him, that he'll be an amazing leader, and he'll learn everything he needs to know to be absolutely successful in life.
Before we move on there, I want to comment on what you're saying here. You're bringing up the Bible verse about, laying your life down for who?
You lay your life down for your friends. You know,
Is that what the Bible? That's what the verse says. You laying your life down for your friends.
Yeah, those men and women who are beside you in time.
No, is that what the verse says?
Yes, sir. It does.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so I wanted to comment on that because this is kind of what I was trying to describe to Nathan, but I didn't quite have the words. Really, what I was trying to describe here is not it wasn't that I want to poo-poo the military or what you might learn or get from it, or you might have a great career and all that at all. I don't know. I'm not commenting on that at all because it's very possible. I think it's possible, but it's gonna be a mess. My point is, I'm not commenting on that. I wanted to comment on really what you're describing. You're saying it's about laying your life down, but I don't know if you know what that means. And I don't think going to some military and then you're telling yourself, I'm going to be this leader and I learned these skills. And then you go and then you, I don't know, you're this hero and you die in combat for some squad that's doesn't care about you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's what laying your life down for your brother is. That's not what, I don't think that's what God wants you to do, to go to some military and fight some fight that you don't know or have anything to do with, that started before you were ever born, a fight that has nothing to do with you. And then you go out and you're like, I'm some hero, and you catch some bullets for evil people who would turn on you the moment they get angry. I don't think that's what laying your life down for your brother is. And I don't think that's what God wants you to do.
Well, Nick, I would just say you're absolutely right in everything that you said. And that's why this is so complicated.
Fair enough.
Because it does go different ways, and so you're right about everything you said, and at the same time, I don't think that I'm wrong about the things that I said either. And so both.
I think we can agree on that.
Yeah, and so
sort of
in a way, you're right about what you say in terms of the way things are now in the military. That would you really want to put yourself in that position to be? Where you have women and the woke ideology in the military that is there today, that you would try to go in and change things. He said that he was going to change something in the military, and it's like, well, hey, brother, you're talking about an institution that it's cemented into place, right? Like it's a very hard rock to move. So you're not going to go in there as a young man, as a butter bar or a captain or whatever. You're not going to change anything. Like you're going to run into a brick wall when you try to change it. But at the same time, I just want to let him know that, hey, if he has that idea that he can lead men into combat and be a good leader, well, then, maybe he is. And those are the type of men that we need. So,
all right, fair enough. We could leave it at that. Okay. Yeah, I understand, Robert. Anyways, you wanted to make a comment. Please.
Yeah, the Lahaina, and I'm not sure if I'm saying it right.
I like how Hake says it, Lahaina.
The Lahaina.
That's what it is to me now, Lahaina.
Yeah, I love Hake. Hake is my flat Earth brother. He doesn't know it yet, but he's flat Earth. But yeah, the Lahaina fires, Nick, to get to my point,
yes,
what
please.
I want to say is that I'm a real big Google Earth guy, right? Like I'm real good at geography. I love the maps.
Google Earth? Didn't you just say flat Earth? Not playing. We don't need to get off the path here. Please continue.
Yeah, well, what does the government show you, right? They show you the ball, so we got to deal with that.
Okay, so you're a big Google Earth guy.
And so I went to find Lahaina, Hawaii, right, to go over and see what Google Earth would show me. And it would appear, Nick, even though these fires are very recent, that they have updated their images, meaning that they show the fire. They show where everything is burned. If any one of your listeners, or maybe Hassan or you yourself, if you could pull up the Google Earth images of Lahaina.
I'm on Google Earth now. You're saying Lahaina? Okay,
yep.
So here, I'll pull it up on the screen. You can continue describing what you're saying. You're saying, I hope I'm on the right thing here. I'm on Google Earth right now. We are revolving around Lahaina. And so you're saying on Google Earth I'll find what?
Well, when you zoom into Lahaina, Hawaii, you will see the burnt structures, the housing that was burnt by these structures. And if you were to, just as a lay person, I know that most of you are not arson investigators or anything, but as a lay person, if you look at how the fires were, and then very, very specifically, if you would compare that to the Paradise, California fires, right? Because Paradise, California had a very similar incident where all of a sudden every structure was on fire. However, it didn't burn the surrounding landscape. And what Lahaina looks like to me is very similar to the Paradise fires, where it would seem to me, and I'm a man who's very in tune with fire. I've had a lot of fire experience, both good and bad. I've been burned more than once.
I don't know if you can see what we're looking at. Is this the correct thing? This looks like it's all burnt down. But you were saying you've had a lot of experience with fire?
Well, and what I'm saying is that what it appears to me, just like the Paradise, California fires, is that those fires began in the structure, meaning that whenever they say it was the electrical company that was at fault, maybe they are telling the truth in a way, but obviously they're hiding what is actually going on, meaning that if they had a technology such that they could send energy through your home, which would just ignite it on fire, it does appear that it just lit the structures on fire, just like Paradise, California. And it does seem that these are people who wouldn't move from their land. The government told them to move. They wouldn't move. And it seems like they just burned them out.
Okay, so two things here so far. You're saying the fires in this Lahaina fire thing, it seems like they started within the structures, which is odd because, you know, it should have started outside due to they're calling it power lines or whatever. Is that what you're saying here? Which is pointing to, you're saying is evidence that the source of the fire is not what they're telling us.
Well, we've had several.
Help me
people
understand
say
that claim. Go into that a little bit. How you know that? How do you know that? And how do you know that the fires, these burnt down structures, exhibited evidence that the fires started inside of the structures, with possibly a sort of some kind of energy, kind of like a magnifying glass, you know, sun through the magnifying glass kind of thing going on? Is that what you're describing?
Yeah, well, I'm describing the pattern of burn that you could witness on Google Earth in terms of how the pattern of burn was to the structure.
Okay, so I'm witnessing this. I'm looking at Google Earth right now. What is it about that I'm looking at that proves what you're saying?
Well, I'm not saying I'm proving anything, Nick. I'm just saying that you know, we've had the official narrative of a wind-driven fire, which would cause a certain pattern on the earth in terms of the burn pattern. And then we're told other things about conspiracies of like space lasers and things like that. And what I'm saying is that it couldn't be, it might not be space lasers or natural. It might just be that the power company has a certain technology where they could feed energy into your home that would essentially light the entire structure on fire all around you.
I'm following you now.
And so maybe it's not space lasers, maybe it's not natural, maybe it's something more on the ground, but it does appear to me from the burn patterns of this location that on the ground there in Lahaina, that it seemed to be very targeted towards a certain structures that were there, and then they left other parts of the town that were maybe not they left the commercial area where you have all the businesses, and then they burned all the homes. You can see that. They left the school, but they burned the homes right up to the school. So they left certain things there, but it seems like to me the burn pattern is not one of a wildfire that would rush through an area based on wind direction and just basically burn everything in that direction. It seems as though they left certain structures, they took out other certain structures, and it to me, as a layperson, I'm not a firefighter or anything, but that it seems like Paradise, California, where the same thing, where they had melted cars, melted houses, but they had trees right next to it that wouldn't burn.
So what is it about this pattern that's not correct here?
Well, you can just see that. You can see the properties that are burned, Nick, and you can see the properties that are not. And I'm not saying that they wouldn't put a little truth in there and have some things burned down that maybe were adjacent to that area, but it seems like they were targeting the areas that they were, and they left alone the areas that would not necessarily need to be burned out. For whatever reason, maybe they want that location, maybe that location has some sort of value, and then these people, being strong people, they wouldn't move out of there. And so whoever's in charge was like, okay, we know how to get them out of there.
Now, I'm not saying any of that is wrong. In fact, I'm not even commenting on that. I don't even know what to say. But about, let's say you came up to me and you said to me, man, they're saying it could have been, laser weapons or space lasers. But I also think it could have been electric companies using technology to pump in energy more than the house can handle to set it ablaze. I mean, if you came up to me and said that to me, I'd be like, well, how do you know either one, and why even go there without any, or you know what I mean? Like, it's fine to have questions. All I'm saying is, it sounds like you're entertaining the space lasers or the company theory. You're entertaining them very seriously. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. Well, the only thing that I'm sure of, Nick, is that if they tell you an official explanation for whether it be 9/11 or climate change or these things that they give you an explanation for, it's just if the government's telling you one thing, you pretty much know that the Las Vegas shooting was not what they told us it was, right?
Right. I agree, man. They lie. I don't trust the media. I don't trust official stories, not right away. I'm with you. And that people, the government, groups, or whoever would lie about a crisis or whatever for personal gain, I don't doubt that either. But that's as far as I go.
Yeah, and there's no reason to go farther, Nick, in terms of things like you say, like Robert.
Very interesting, though, man. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, all right, Nick. Yeah, that's just my thing. Is that everyone can look on the Google Maps and check all those patterns out, and then if you could Google the Paradise, California fires, it's it just seems that the structures were targeted, the roads were left alone, the trees were left alone. It's just as interesting.
Paradise, California. Never heard of it. Might have to check it out, man. Thanks, Robert. Anything else? Last thing you want to say before we move the wheels here?
Oh, no, Nick, nothing else. Just really appreciate all the shows you guys. Hassan has a new show.
Yes, sir.
I hope Joel was talking about the Lahaina fires earlier. Yeah. I hope he goes to 2 hours as well.
Nice.
And you guys, Sean, everybody, of course, Hake. I don't have to mention Hake because he's
Hake Report.
He's Hake, so.
TheHakeReport.com. Nice.
Yeah.
Man.
So I just want to let all you guys know that I really appreciate what you do, and just keep up the good work, fellas. And of course, I love Jesse. If I can ever make it out there before the world ends, I love to come out there and see you guys and just say hello.
Thanks, Robert. Wish you well. Take care. Call me again.
Thanks.
Oh, I'm sorry, Robert, but we're moving the wheels. Thank you, sir. Be Fit to Be Fit, back-to-back Super Chat says, NASA sent evil elves into their homes with matches. Fire theorist caller equals king of chat tards. Man, beef it to be fit. Going hard. Birdie Bound Brian. Sorry about that. Birdie Bound Brian with the super chat says, you got to wake up early to fool Nick. No such thing as a hero. Not even Jesus. Dang. Beef it to be fit asks very nicely, less super gay military talk, please. And Big, is that how you pronounce your name? Is it Big? Is it Bij? Is it Biggie? Is it Bigay? Oh, wait, don't say that last one. It's not Bigay. With the foreign money, thank you for the super chat there. You rock. It says, juice, sir. All right. Nice. And I think I read Spoiler Alert's super chat here about the sweaty Zelensky. Thank you so much for your support, y'all. Okay. What shall we do next? Dang, I mean, let's keep the calls rolling here. I got Of Aaron C. out of Utah. Thanks for your call. You're on the air.
Hey, what's going on, brother? Yeah,
fine,
so
thanks.
I just wanted to call in, of course, just to give like the most massive pushback as far as joining the U.S. military.
Okay.
So, you know, I get that they've done a really good job with Hollywood and propaganda to try to infuse this kind of, you know, the military's event, you know, like an adventure and like you're a hero thing, you know, and stuff like that. And I'm really sad to see that in 2023, I'm still seeing, you know, you had that last guy calling, still kind of saying that kind of stuff. This is, I mean, I'd say in the early 2000s, I would think that, you know, after 9/11 and all that, the initial invasion of Afghanistan and Iraq, I thought people kind of woke up from that, that whole, wannabe hero thing. Because joining the military has absolutely nothing to do with that. In fact, you are less of a hero if you join the U.S. military. Let's really start dropping some common sense in on this, guys. There has not been a war for American freedom since 1812. All right. So there is absolutely no reason to join the U.S. military for this hero crap. This is absolutely ridiculous and it is incredibly childish. Now, there's a whole slew of other reasons, okay? The main reason, you know, why I didn't stay in, because I was thinking about being a reservist, because being a Navy aircrew reservist is one of the military's dream jobs. It's a super cool job. You get to ride on a plane. All it goes to more places in the world than any other plane, et cetera. I really wanted to do it, but I mean, main reason I got out was because of those jabs. They're going to jab you to death. Ooh. You know, if you're someone out there that's listening, and you're worried about just getting, you know, that CV jab, you know, I'm telling you right now, you join the military. Anyone that's been in the military can tell you during boot camp, they take you down there. You walk through a hallway. You stop every couple feet on a piece of tape, and you get, you know, plucked from both sides. You literally get about, I think, anywhere from like 7 to 10 vaccines in boot camp that week, and then you come back to get a few more prior to when you leave. So you are getting jabbed the hell up, okay? And
you're either coming out with X-Men powers or something bad.
Well, here's the thing. There's something I noticed. I even thought about doing a documentary on this my final year in, because I'm one of those people, of course, I just couldn't wait to get out. I originally had a 6-year contract, but I went and actually found in the regulations a way to get 2 years off my contract. I mean, if that tells you anything about how quick I wanted to get out. But I saw that you see things in there that you normally don't see. I mean, you're familiar with a lot of veterans having all kinds of issues. I say half of them have sleep apnea, all kinds of other mental disabilities. My friend just picked up his brother who was an ex-Marine who was like in a VA, like insane asylum the last couple of years. They're really screwing us up. And, you know, there is lack of sleep. There is other component. It's like a trifecta, you know, but the thing is I have to just point to the jabs. You know, it's the main thing I have to point to. And you're seeing like young kids, you're seeing kids that are in their early 20s and stuff getting medically separated. Sometimes their hair is going gray, falling out. I mean, it's just all kinds of health problems, you know. I don't know how anyone does 20. That's beyond me, because take all the other initial vaccines out of the equation, you know, because they're going to jab you depending on where you're deployed in certain parts of the world. They might give you some jabs prior to deployment, but you're going to get that yearly flu vaccine either way. You're going to get that every single year. There's nothing that you can do to get out of it. Okay, and so, and again, the jobs, that's the primary component for me, but it's become just such a corporation. That guy that thinks he's going to join, you know, to help it. I do understand that he's coming from a good place. I understand that he has great intentions, but that is just an absolute joke. There's absolutely nothing that he's going to be able to do, because it's all just from the top down. There is no in the military, there is no grassroots kind of thing where, like, there's change ever brought about from the bottom up. It doesn't work like that. The military is simply a top-down structure, and that's all there is to it. And just to give people kind of an idea, you know, I got out in 2017, and that was kind of a while ago. I couldn't even imagine what it's like now.
Mm-hmm.
But my last 2 months in, I almost got in trouble because a female chief walked by, and I was talking to my friend. He was probably about maybe 15 feet away or so. And I was just saying something to him. I was like, "Oh, such and such, that's yeah," you know, just something like that, just like typical kind of. It really wasn't a big deal. This female chief heard me. She got in my face, and I had no choice. I had no choice but to just cock, you know, just
right.
Yes, you know, I had no choice.
That's your superior, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, it wasn't even my superior. It was just a chief that was walking through the ship through a certain passageway. But it's just unbelievable to see that people, and something else too. Again, this goes back to a common sense standpoint. Okay, I don't want to really bring up the racial stuff too heavy, but you know, if your own government, if your own government and media is on TV telling you that, you know, you as a white male, you know, they're telling you that you're the problem.
That's a good point.
They're telling you that you're the problem. You're the future terrorist. They are telling you that you're the problem. So why would you go join a fighting force where you could die for that? I just don't get the logic whatsoever. That just makes zero sense to me. You know, and again, I know what the problem is, because I live in, you know, a state now that has a lot of small rural towns, and these people are super pro-military. I mean, you know, every time someone hears I'm ex-Bed, you know, they worship you. Oh, thank you for your service. You know, and you know, I always got to set them straight. You know, I answer, you know, oh, fighting wars for Israel, no sweat. Fighting for Raytheon, no sweat. You know,
right.
But it's just, again, I understand that these people come from these small towns. They're bored. They want that sense of adventure. You know what I'm saying? They want that kind of stuff. I kind of get where they're coming from. Unfortunately, you're just going to have to find another angle, just find somewhere else to input to thrust that energy. For example, that caller I was talking to, I can tell he's a smart guy. He said he was 23 and he was already saying he had his bachelor's, right?
Yeah.
So he's like officer ready. I can tell you one thing: don't go in the U.S. military. But if you do, definitely only go in as an officer only. I can tell you that, otherwise you'd be degraded to no end. Yeah. But again, I would not.
Yeah. What do you think about going in like that with that mentality? That's kind of what I was trying to describe. Instead of having like a doughy mentality, why not be wise as serpents? Like go in knowing that you're trying to just get something out of the whole thing.
Well, that's what everyone's doing anyway, Nick.
Right.
So when I was
exactly. Let's be real.
Yeah, when my ship was out there in, I think it was like 2016, out there in the Persian Gulf, you know, just bombing the hell out of whoever. I remember when I was out there, that's actually when Russia got involved with Syria. I don't know if you remember that.
A little bit.
That's when Russia got involved. Yes, and so the captain of our ship, you know, he comes on the 1MC and he's like, yeah, guys, we're now sharing the same airspace as Russia. You know, everyone was on edge because, you know, one wrong mistake, the Cold War happened,
right.
You know. Whatever, and you should have saw the people on my ship, because, you know, we all just joined for like free college and the benefit and stuff like that, you know, like we didn't join to actually die, you know. And I remember a couple of hood caps, and they're like, "Man, are you serious, man? We're about to die." You know, it was actually really
hilarious.
Funny. Yeah, it was super funny, but yeah, this notion of you know, joining for these noble causes, I'm sorry, it's gone, guys. The fight is here. It's at home. Okay, they're taking your liberties and freedom away here. You're not going to go find them 5,000 miles overseas, bombing and killing a bunch of random people. Okay, I feel horrible for the stuff that I partook in. You see these planes just leave the deck, you know, fully loaded with bombs. They come back empty, reload, go do the same thing. And again, this notion is just incredibly childish. I just cannot get over that people would still want to do it. But you understand what the problem is, right, Nick? You understand what the enlistment, how they trap the young people, right? There's not a lot
I don't know.
I
have some idea. Can you describe? I have some idea about. I mean, I'm understanding the problem you're describing. I mainly agree. The whole thing is messed up, and you got to understand what you're supporting. And of course, it bears repeating the mentality of be wise as serpents. But you're saying there's a problem with the whole enlisting stuff. What do you mean?
Well, see, that's what I was going to say. Well, it's kind of like a trap. I mean, if someone is not as well off economically, And then, again, they do a great job at the movies. I mean, when I was younger, I remember watching war movies, and, I did kind of build up my patriotism. I still always love this country, but I remember those war movies. They're pretty much recruiting tools. You saw that new Top Gun come out. They're recruiting tools. Well, when the original Top Gun came out in '86, man, the recruiters were outside of the theaters.
No way.
Waiting to get, yeah. And
ready to join the chair force.
Navy, yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying,
the Navy,
man, is like, yeah. But like that dude that you're talking to, if he's 23, already got a bachelor's degree, that tells me that guy is a studious guy. He has a strong work ethic. He's simply, I know it might be a tough answer he doesn't want to hear, but he's simply just going to have to find another path to channel that energy. Okay.
What do you think about this comment? And a very interesting call. Appreciate your call. I want to ask you a little bit about what you did in the military, if you don't mind. I'm kind of interested. But what do you think about this comment here in the chat? I'll ask you that in a second. Kevin Howe in the chat says, how do you think the freaks in charge today got there? They played the game. They didn't quit because they wanted an officer position. You got to take ish to get what you want. This is defeatist, in my opinion. What do you think about that?
Well, if he's saying, I mean, but the way that would change is if you do look at any kind of like political change, what's going on in the military now, it needs political change, okay? Again, they're trying to run it like a corporation where you're dominated by females. Every promotion cycle that comes around, of course, the hottest chicks in each shop got promoted. I mean, it's just so typical. That would have to be brought about by political change. And you can't have, even if you join as an officer, you're like one out of how many people in the military? I'm sorry, you're just not going to have that change. It would just have to be done through, if you look at the way anything else has ever changed in history, it's going to be done politically, maybe activism. Maybe they can have a large publicized incident where maybe like leading admirals and generals were to resign and publicly state, why or something like that. But if you're a low-tier enlisted or just normal run-of-the-mill officer, and guys, don't think just because you're an officer you start to have some sway. If you join as a low-ranking officer, you still don't have much sway. And the only way to get to those top political positions in the military, like, chief of staff, that kind of, anytime you put on stars, one-star admiral, general, that's a political position, basically. You have to do things right politically to get there. And I'll give you an example. The chief of staff of the Navy, I don't know if it's still her, but I think it is. It's a black female, okay? And she's a Navy, chief of staff, okay, admiral. And what's great about the military is everything's dictated on your uniform. People can't cap about what they did this, did that, because it's all on your uniform, where you been, what you done, did. It's right there. That's one cool thing about the military. But like her, she's actually, I could tell by her uniform, she's actually never been a line officer. Okay, she would have a gold pin, a surface warfare pin if she was. She would, she's never been a line officer. She's never actually really been in charge of a ship, stuff like that. And so she was put there, obviously, black female. That's the two traits in the intersectionality. Wow. So she got there. But yeah, all this energy, it just. I've heard the same argument that the person was saying in the chat. It's kind of like with police. If you think the police are so bad, join the cops. You can be a decent cop. That's a little different. I think you could join your local law enforcement, and I think you could try to input into your community some fairness, stuff like that. But even at the end of the day, they have to follow orders. I mean, if the order ever comes down to go house to house confiscating firearms, your local cop, they're going to do that. Like, they're going to follow that or else. Again, the energy just simply has to be channeled somewhere else. It is the opposite of patriotic to join your military at this time. There are no wars that are truly being fought for anyone's freedom. Okay, like you were saying, it's all just to benefit the corporate elite, especially the juice crew, etc. And there's just absolutely no reason. It's just beyond me why people still want to join. And I'm telling you, your health is a big thing, because here's the thing. I already knew the truth. I joined at a very late age. Okay, I made sure I failed at everything in life. I was living in the projects in West Baltimore at 27. I had to get out of there. So I joined, and I already had my mind made up about a lot of things. I already knew the truth about 9/11. I already knew this stuff. I already knew it was just a game to be played, whatever. And going to the military just solidified my beliefs. And you know what? I probably would have made it through unscathed, but I got out with a whole slew of health problems. And there's only one variable that I can really pin on, and that is getting jammed multiple times. Wow. And you know what? Let me tell you this story. Yeah. Just to show you how much of a paddle you are. Go ahead.
No, real quick, your story. I wanted to ask you something.
Sure.
Okay, I'll just ask you. Do you still think, all that, saying all that, do you think it's still possible for an individual to go the distance hide what he needs to hide to get to the top, Manchurian candidate style, and when the moment is right, to affect change in a positive way, as fantastical as it might sound?
I don't. And the reason why is because...
So the twinkle in your eye is gone, is what you're telling me.
Well, what do you mean? You're talking about doing that. You're talking about doing that through the military. You're talking about to play the game, get to the top, try to,
and then do some good.
But your odds of getting to the top in the military are like 1 in a million.
That may be true.
The chances of
do you still think it's possible?
Like an NFL athlete. Yeah. I mean, again, even if you get to that position, you only get to that position by being diplomatic to today's political correct standards, right? They're not going to promote you and put you in that position unless you know.
Right. This isn't advice. This isn't advice. It maybe it's fantastical or very rare or whatever, but you think it's possible.
And if you even did try to step up and let's pretend, because the way that you're talking about, Nick, is like if you get into a certain spot, the only thing you can really do is make a statement. So let's say Chief of Staff says, well, you know, maybe women aren't as effective in combat. You know, but if you say that like, you know, that honest,
and that was your whole purpose, and that was the purpose, and you completed it.
Yeah, but if you do that, you lose your retirement, which is what you work for the whole 20 years. Okay,
so you have no twinkle in your eye, is what you're telling me. It's gone. The light is gone.
No, I still have hope. I definitely have hope. But again,
I'm mostly messing with you. You're making a lot of sense, man. I don't disagree.
Do not join the military. I'm telling you. Again, it's the most. The fight is here at home. If you want to make a difference, guys, do some activism. Okay. You know, do something like that. Do not join the military and go kill other poor people overseas. I'm telling you, it is not benefiting.
They say, I heard the only just war is a war of our sovereignty. Like there's really only few reasons for war, and really the only just war is a war where it's on our soil and for our sovereignty.
Right. And what did I just tell you, Nick? The last war for American freedom was the War of 1812. That was when our British bros tried to come back here and take it back. Yep. You know, that's the only kind of wars that matter. All these other wars today are absolute BS. And I just don't understand. Like, guys, we're losing so much freedom. We're losing, like, freedom of speech in Florida is basically gone. You know, if you toss out flyers talking about the Juice Crew, which is supposed to be covered under freedom of speech, First Amendment, if you do that, they're now saying it's a felony, punishable up to 5 years. Like, that's the empire that you want to serve. I mean, I just cannot.
Interesting point, man.
Comprehend that.
I got to move on a little quicker here.
I got you, man. I just had to drop it.
No problem, man. And last thing you want to say before we move the wheels?
Nah, man. I think that about covers it. Do not join the military.
Much appreciated there, man. Call me again.
Peace out, hermano.
Take care. Right on, hermano. Okay, is caller fat or fit? Sorry, man. Sorry, Hank. I didn't ask him. What was I going to say? Darn. What was I going to say about that? About him? Oh, man, I forgot to ask him about Ron DeSantis. He did sound a little bit like Ron DeSantis. Da Vinci with the super chat says, Ron, we know it's you. Beef it to be fit says, King Tard caller followed by Genius caller. Hey, guys, we don't need to be. Hey, whatever. I don't care. You'd have to be a moron to vote Vivek. Time Farmer in the chat must have heard the slanderous, libelous lies by Carver about my voting preferences. What's up, Time Farmer and Carver? Welcome. Okay, so what did I want to say? I forgot. Oh yeah, Ron, I forgot. Of Aaron C, are you in the chat? Has anyone ever said to you that you sound a little bit like Ron DeSantis in your manner of speaking? You know, maybe even your cadence and the way you sound a little bit. I did read the Rumble rant from Being Enlightened Till I Rise. Thank you, Hake Report. Appreciate that. Keeping me on top of it. But we're on top of it today. Dang. And I mean, what else should we do here? I could do this topic here. Do we have that kind of time, though? Let's keep the calls rocking and rolling. Zeus, Florida, you're on the air. Appreciate your call.
What's up, Nick? How are you?
Zeus, I'm fine. And yourself?
Not too bad. So, I just want to share a little story, and then talk about something you asked me yesterday. Okay. And the first story I'm going to share is I just want to say God is good, And it's crazy. So, like, I was thinking, should I go get me, like, some water bottles, or should I chill? You know what I mean? Because I have, like, a few. I didn't have very much, but I had enough, I think to last. I don't think it's going to be that long.
So,
sure.
You're saying you're wondering if you needed to go get water bottles?
Yeah, for, like, supplies for the hurricane that's coming up.
Gotcha. Okay. Right. Florida. Hurricane Idalia? How do you say that?
Idalia, that's how I understand it.
Gotcha.
And,
so
like,
you were considering getting water for supplies for the incoming hurricane. I'm following. Go on.
Yeah, because I was like, should I drive the car? I got the water pump finally today.
How's it right now? Is the rain coming down? Like, what's it like right now?
It's just dark and a little windy. It ain't that bad. It ain't close yet, I guess. It's not supposed to get bad over here till like 2-ish in the morning.
Okay.
Or tomorrow morning.
So you were wondering about driving.
Yeah, and I was considering, I was like, oh, well, I'm just going to chill. And so I went and made me some dinner in like the little community area that's at the RV park. And I was sitting there eating my food, watching the little TV in there. And this lady walks in with like 20 water bottles. And she's like, hey, we have extra water bottles. Do you need any? And I was like, I'll take them. And so I got me some water bottles just like that, just for chilling. And so I don't know. The first thing that popped in my mind is God is good. Like, that's why you don't worry. God will provide for you. And that's what I thought. Maybe I'm just like crazy, or maybe people will be, oh, that's coincidence. But I don't know.
No, I think people are quick to call it those kinds of things. But I try and pay attention to those little things. And I'm not saying it is or not in your life, but I don't just I try and pay attention to those little things, because it is true how God provides, and we don't even understand the depths of that. We don't understand what that even means.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think it's easy to say that when you're getting the out of nowhere freebie water bottles, but we should remember, we should really remember to maintain that same attitude when times aren't so nice and free, with like the freebie water bottles, because I don't think we really truly understand what that means. God is good, and He works in mysterious ways. And so like I'm saying, I don't poo-poo, I don't I steal this from Hake, but I don't poo-poo that. I think it's easy and especially Christians even to quickly throw that away, like, nah, that wasn't God, it's just a coincidence or whatever. And I don't do that. I try and pay attention to those things, and I'll repeat it once more. I try and pay attention to those things because we don't really understand, and it's nice right now, but Zeus, and this is for myself too, this is big time for myself, we should maintain that same attitude when times don't seem so nice, because we may think it's not so nice, but we may not be understanding the work that God is doing in our lives.
Yeah, and I think, it is what it is, right? But in my mind, the best thing to do is just give gratitude and thanks to God, and just, you know what I mean? Even in the bad times, there is bad times, and in the bad times, just give thanks, because who knows, it could be leading to something better. Whereas some people will be like, oh no, this is the end, or get all like, I don't know, don't be diapers about it. Just thank God, because you never know what's going to be the next step or whatever. Yeah. So to me, that's all I thought. I was like, yeah, I was like, God, I was like, can't tell me God ain't good, because you know what I mean?
Right on,
and
man.
then I got my car part today, right? So I was walking down to go pick it up.
Yeah, Chad, he was talking about his car. He was trying to get his car parts. He couldn't get to this job, and it was a mess. But so you got your car part.
And I'm walking down to the office, and I noticed that there's a lot of people that are leaving. And in fact, on my way back, one of them, like my friends in the park, or so-called friends or whatever, he picked me up and he drove me to my trailer. And he said, yeah, I'm getting out of here, man. And I just noticed that my neighbors are packing up the trailer. I'm like, oh, dang. Pretty epic.
Oh, yeah, that's right. If you don't, Chad, he was also telling us yesterday that his area is basically under evacuation orders. Is that correct?
I don't think we're under evacuation orders yet. I think what they told me is if they put us under evacuation orders, we have to leave. We don't have a choice.
Gotcha.
Stay
and so you already have some neighbors deciding ahead of time. They're packing it up.
Oh, yeah, dude. When I was walking by, I saw like 3 or 4 people packing up, and it's like, it looks pretty empty. I was like, oh, man, that's pretty crazy. But, it is what it is.
So what are you doing? You're just chilling? Anybody else chilling like you? Sounds like some people had water there and everything. Anybody else hunkering down?
I think there's going to be a few people. There should be some people chilling. None in my area. All my area, everyone's gone.
So, everyone's gone in your area. It's just you?
Yeah, like,
so if something goes wrong, you don't have anyone to, you know what I'm saying? Like, help you out or something?
Yeah, I got God. I don't need anybody else, buddy.
Am I the unfaithful one here, chat? Am I just being unfaithful here, showing no faith? But it sounds like it sounds like people around you, they've decided to move. I'm not telling you that that's what you got to do. But like I was saying yesterday, I don't think it doesn't sound like you are doing this, but just in case, don't just have it in your mind, I'm not leaving. Like, leave that open. Leave that open. Hey, if I have to leave, I'll leave. And it sounds like they'll tell you if you have to leave.
Well, I was considering getting my car
Don't be like the blacks and
quick.
get Katrina'd, says Hake. Shout out to the Katrina blacks.
Well, I was thinking about fixing my car real quick and like taking off, and I'm like, nah, I'll wait till tomorrow, like or after the storm. You know what I mean? Like, why bother fixing it now?
Can you group up with the ones that stayed? I know they're not in your area, but they're somewhere nearby at least.
No, I mean I could, but I'm not going to go ask them. That's weird.
Why not? They're your neighbors.
We're
brothers. We're brothers in this country, and or is that a fantasy? Are we all a nation of a republic, a nation of Americans, and we should be able to? Or is that a total fantasy?
Well, I was thinking about that, but it seems kind of weird to go knock on someone's like trailer and be like, "Hey, can I hang out with you guys for the storm? I'm so scared."
Or not even that, but just tell them, "Hey, my area, they all left. Just want you guys to know I'm still here, though. Don't just if you guys happen to be passing by, or just so someone knows that you're still around." Because it sounds like you're telling me that your whole area is gone.
No,
is there like a shelter? Is there like a community shelter or something like that? That you at least have some kind of backup plan, just in case?
You know what's funny? I did have a backup plan. We have bathhouses, and like when I first moved here, there was it was a tropical storm. I think it was Elsa, and they sent us a text message like tornado warning, seek shelter in your nearest bathhouse. So that was my plan. And today I went to the bathhouse or whatever, and they put a note on there because someone just bought the RV park, and it says this is not a designated shelter area.
Gotcha.
I was like, ooh.
Man,
so
stay aware. Just stay aware. I don't know what you should do. You're the one in your situation, but just stay aware because your decision to stay. Like, you're open for that decision to change?
No, I'm gonna chill, dude. If they tell me to leave, I'm like,
you have 3 weeks worth of food.
I do actually.
Nice, right on.
Yeah, I have like a stockpile that I keep just in case stuff happens.
Nice.
So I'm good,
man. I wish you were over there in Florida. I hope it doesn't hit too hard, and you stay aware. Pay attention to the news. Whatever you got to do, you'll do it.
I only hope that the power doesn't go out for too long, so I can watch the Bond Network tomorrow. So we'll see. But who knows?
Man,
I don't know. I'm not worried though. God is good. Shout out to everyone else that's in Florida that's in the path.
Okay.
I wish them well, and I don't know. Have a good day, Nick.
We wish you well as well, Zeus, chat and all that.
One more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
One more thing. I wanted to say something about your new hero, Vivek. For some reason, like the YouTube algorithm just spits out stuff.
Yeah.
And I typed in a search, like the dark truth about Vivek or Vivek hidden secrets, right? And so I've been getting stuff on my algorithm. And apparently, and I don't know if you reported on this or someone else did, but he asked a question when he was 18 to Al Sharpton of all people. And essentially the question is, why should I vote for someone with inexperience? Essentially, it's not it's paraphrased. It's not quote for quote. And I just think it's ironic that he of all people asked that. I don't know. I think it was 15 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And
it sounds like they're saying that about him.
Yeah,
today.
Exactly. That's why it's ironic and it's funny. But another thing I heard too, and I was actually looking into this. They say that he received money from a Soros loan when he was in college. So, yeah, I looked into it, and from what he says, because he explained it, essentially it was like a college loan. So I don't know. It's interesting. Stuff's popping up. Who knows?
Hey, that's your guy. No,
Trump's my guy, bro.
I'm playing.
Trump's my guy.
I don't know. That's your guy. That's y'all. I'm playing. Zeus, man, I appreciate your call, man, and don't hesitate to call me back.
Yeah, I'll call you.
And definitely call me post-hurricane.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry. It's going to be fine, man.
All right. Don't be a stranger. Post-hurricane. Let us know if you survived.
Shout out, everybody. See ya.
For sure, Zeus. Take care. Wishing you well, man. Dang. Calls keep coming in. You guys rock. And why don't we just keep doing calls? We'll leave this story for tomorrow. 14-year-old stabber. I think you'll find it quite interesting. We'll do this tomorrow. 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍�. I didn't realize the details of this story. I had seen the headline months ago, and it seems like the full details have just recently come out. They're putting out the videos, they're putting out the reports, and I'm now aware of it. You'll find it interesting. I think it demonstrates anger and so many things that the Bond Network is talking about, JLP and all that. We'll do that tomorrow. We'll keep the calls rocking and rolling right now. I have with us today Art from Ohio. What's up, Art? How you been? Nice to hear from you. Hope you've been well.
Nick, you hear me knocking, brother? Let me in.
Yeah. What's up, Art? Welcome back.
It's already Art, baby. Baby, come here, give me a hug, man. Dang, I ain't seen you in forever, man.
I know. I was wondering if you'd come out to the cookout.
Man, I was like, man, you know I smelled that food from on the grill from all the way over here in my yard. I'm like, man.
I was just asking, hey, you think Art would come out to the cookout?
Yeah, man, you already know, man. As long as I got some of them barbecue chicken wings off the grill or whatnot, Art is going to be there.
Let's go. Welcome back, Art. It's good to hear from you.
Hey, shout out to the Big Boom, too, for putting that broomstick down, too, man.
Big what?
Big Boom. You ain't heard about Big Boom?
No.
Boom.
Big Boom. Oh, no. I just Googled it. Inform us, Art.
Man, Big Boom is the dude who allegedly been tearing Steve Harvey's slut of a wife up.
Whoa.
That's what they,
but they said it's not true. They said it's not true.
I said allegedly. I mean,
fair enough. So chat. I just Googled it as well. Big Boom is apparently the name of Steve Harvey's bodyguard / chef, who was in these rumors. And so they put the broom down.
Yeah, that's what they said. Said he was putting the firecracker on her.
Dang.
Well,
Marjorie and Steve disavowed.
But yeah, we say allegedly, man, because we ain't like the liberals or what. We ain't like CNN, NBC, and MSNBC. We don't come out here just throwing stuff. It's got to be alleged. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't doubt it though, Nick, man. I mean, her track record ain't too good. She's gonna did some very liberal type of female feminist type of stuff, and
I didn't know she was like that. I see she has the last name Harvey, and so already I'm thinking they're already better off than most. She took his last name. I guess I may have thought you're informing me today. I may have jumped the gun here.
Oh yeah, no, I think they saying allegedly she was dating one dude and then turned off, and so I don't know how the story gonna win. I just know that it's messed up because this the part. Said she was dating one dude. I think had a baby by him, and then turned around and went after he went to jail, started dating his cousin and had a baby by him. Something along them lines. It might not be the exact, but they was cousins.
We have such messy lives. We keep trying to make things work that just don't. Isn't that the story?
And I mean, the apple don't fall too far from the tree, and I'm not gonna be too hard on the young lady or whatnot. Because we all be young and promiscuous. Not all, but most. His daughter. So, I mean, her daughter had to learn that behavior from somewhere. She didn't just wake up out of nowhere and get that ratchet behavior from...
Oh, you're talking about Marjorie Harvey's daughter?
Yeah.
I didn't realize they had a daughter. I imagine they had kids. I've heard him talk about it a little bit.
I think it's Lori Harvey or something like that. And gangs for wreck, man. Yeah, a little something along them lines with the gossip or whatnot. But more, I like to stay on Steve Harvey's trail and on his bumper because he tried to play that little narrative about Donald Trump. He tried to be fake and try to defend Donald Trump. And then when Donald Trump was trying to bring him in and let him work with the Ben Carson dude on the housing thing. Steve Harvey tried to turn on Trump when Trump basically just went out there to the press conference and basically said that he was to overturn overturning Obamacare, and Steve Harvey made a joke like he didn't know what was going on, and it's like, well, Steve Harvey,
I remember that.
You didn't have to flip on him just because he went out there and said that. He was just basically going out there announcing that, and it wasn't no slight towards you, Steve Harvey. You was just supposed to, if you was really for the right reason, you was just supposed to hold your tongue. Yeah. And if you was for the black people and trying to help any Americans, forget scrub the black people. If you were trying to help any original Americans, you would have did what was best for Americans, but you wasn't for Americans. You was there because if you notice, Steve Harvey told, which is stupid, he told on himself and said that Obama called him like a couple days ahead of that and said, won't you go and talk to Trump? And what I'm getting from it that Steve Harvey don't know that Ari Art smells through the BS is that Obama sent you to be an informant, a mole, a rat. And you were supposed to go back and tell everything that Donald Trump was talking about, and you couldn't even do that right. We know what you was doing, and Trump was already 10 steps ahead of you. He knew you was coming there to be a mole. You trying to play Trump like he's stupid. He knew you was coming there to be a mole.
C-SPAN network,
and that's why I don't like Steve. Go ahead, I'm listening.
No, I'm sorry. But yeah, I know it's just funny because I remember Steve Harvey got a lot of backlash. It's funny how much backlash he got, not only a bunch of stuff, but just simply taking that picture, appearing with Trump and shaking his hand and all that. I believe, wasn't that also, that might have also been with Kanye, but Steve Harvey, he did that where he met with Trump and shook his hand and all that. He got a lot of crap just for shaking the man's hand on camera.
Yeah, and that's why that's why I was saying about the politicians on the Hake report yesterday. Only reason why he was acting like that is because he ain't got no backbone. He's scared of he's the type of person. He goes with the crowd, and if the crowd ain't liking the person, he ain't gonna like him neither. And he's scared of his shadow instead of him being standing up on his 10 toes as a man,
And there's the like black mafia thing going on here, right? You have if the black public turns on you because you weren't supposed to act that way or shake that man's hand, you got to go with the mafia, and you can't be this. Yeah. He's supposed to be like a black man, masculine personality who's an example to all. The best example would have been to go against the crowd and be like, "No, you're wrong. I'm just shaking the man's hand." Like, you know what I mean? That would have been the true example, but no, he's got to appease the black mob. So is Steve Harvey really an individual man? I don't know.
No, he ain't. He rolling with the crew, and just like I said yesterday or whatnot, if it ain't somebody on both political spectrums, how the Democrats don't set the bar so low or so high, whichever way you want to take it or whatnot, that you try to politically persecute Donald Trump. Now you basically got, everybody should be, well, not everybody, but besides me, you, and probably Hake and Jesse and Joel or whatnot, Joel Friday or whatnot, we ain't scared or whatnot, but a lot of these politicians, they scared because you know what, they seeing what's going on, and they playing like they don't see and know what's going on, but they know very well what's going on and how they trying to do Trump, and they don't want to stand up because they feel like, first, they don't have enough money to be fighting these cases like Trump. Second thing is, half of them, if they ever went to jail, wouldn't even survive in there one day because they'd be trying to hang themselves or something like that. They ain't got no backbone, so you're going to have somebody in there that's got a strong will and a strong-willed-minded person that ain't scared to stand up against people and say what's right and what's wrong. And them people that's up on that debate stage, they definitely ain't the one. None of them is or whatnot. The people better figure out something because they keep trying to put these same people in front of us or whatnot and trying to force them on us and not letting us as the American people be able to pick who we want. This ain't a good look, man. You got a whole bunch of sheep political politicians, man.
Yeah. Man, so true, Art. Right on. So I wanted to ask you, I'm going to talk to you in a bit. It seems like a whole bunch has happened since then, huh? Since we last spoke. Yeah. We're all wondering. I just want to ask you your thoughts on Trump, really. Just indictments and all that. And the state of it all. Just your thoughts on it.
what's my thoughts on it?
Yeah.
First thing first, Artie Art Negro Diamonds prediction is, first thing first, before I get to the Negro Diamonds prediction hour, we're not on the Nick stream. First thing first is that black dude that had that shirt that said N-word for Trump. He is out of line. He is definitely out of line for that. If you was going, I mean, I don't know whether to take him serious or not. I mean, I'm glad the black people's allegedly waking up, but why would you come put some term like that? You know, not even just a racial slur on a shirt like that, and then say you for Trump or whatnot. I mean, I'm glad you trying to rock with Trump. We cool. We you know, if you roll with Trump, we cool with that. But you could have cleaned that up.
We can't have our questions or criticisms.
Yeah, but I mean, have some decorum. I mean, not even just decorum. I mean, you could have picked a better word than that. I mean, Negroes is the next best thing. I mean, the way better thing than that.
Could you at least done Negro or something, man?
I mean, gosh, please, bro, you throwing. I mean, you throwing us under the bus, but damn, you throwing us a life raft at the same time.
You know what's funny, man, is that I'm not the type to care about this word and all that. You know me, but I kind of share your sentiment a little here. I saw that too, and I was wondering, it seems a little bombastic, and I think that's what he's going for. And I guess he's trying to get attention, but is it feeling a little bit more like the attention here was more important than the message?
Man, it's just he out of line, man. I mean, at this point, you might as well say B words for Trump, whores for Trump, sluts for Trump.
Right. Junkies for Trump, like mentally retarded for Trump, like mongoloids, troglodytes for Trump. Lepers. We got lepers for Trump. They love me. They have leprosy, but they love me.
Man. And then what's up with they putting braids on him and that? Why y'all, man, leave my man Trump. He just American like white dude.
They're photoshopping him with the braids and all that.
yeah, man, just leave him alone, bro. Just let him be my regular white dude that's already from Ohio, being like, and leave him alone, man.
Funny.
He ain't trying to be getting the black card. He ain't trying to get the N-word, allegedly the N-word passed. No, man, he just want to be a regular rich white dude, the independent. You know what I mean? You ain't got to do all that, man. I don't understand why they always think it. But my predictions, Negro Diamonds already are predictions for Trump is he's definitely gonna get off on all these charges and whatnot. Okay. And I don't understand why the left don't seem to understand that. They ain't doing nothing but distracting y'all. Y'all so caught up with trying to get and lock him up that everything else is going on through the back door. They trafficking, selling drugs out the back door, stealing your constitutional rights out the back door, trying to let the boys play against the girl in sports out the back door. Y'all missing all this because y'all want to try to get one man that ain't did nothing wrong, that y'all all know ain't did nothing wrong, and you're losing your rights right in front of you instead of asking your politicians, besides all this, what else can we do to get the economy and get these jobs back over here to the American people or whatnot?
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, they just ain't getting it. They didn't understand it with Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Pencil Neck, all of them. And they still ain't gonna get it, but just like I said on the Hake Report yesterday, my main man Hake Report. They got a spell on them, man. That's the devil or whatnot. And my thing is this: a lot of people think that when these end times come, that they just go up and be able to throw up their hands and be like, "Hey, God, forgive me. Can I come up to heaven?" And it's gonna be too late. I mean, at some point, you got to draw the line. You can't just be playing games with God like that, be working for the devil, and then turn around and think you're going to be like, "Oh, God, forgive me. Can I save me in the rapture? I'm coming to heaven." No, it don't work. God, you thinking he all lovey-dovey and playing games. He's not. You can't. Father God ain't no simp, and he ain't. He got your number, man. He know how to call you. Father God will pull up on you, and he'll let the devil pull up on you in a drop of a dime. Hey, man, I'm getting off this line. Now, I appreciate you 100%, Nick.
All right, always a pleasure, man. Call me again.
Yes, sir.
Moving the wheels. Man, nice to hear from Art there. You know, he's reminded me of something my sister said the other day, and I was talking about this and that about Trump, trying to describe what he's going through, and she said it so perfectly and simply. I was like, this is what I've been trying to say this whole time. You know, you might sometimes find it hard to describe or explain the anger against Trump and why they'll go after him in such a way. You start maybe wondering, what's the strategy here? What's their mentality? How do you explain this? How do you explain this? They go after him, but his numbers go up. How are they okay with this strategy? Aren't they thinking? And I realized when my sister said, he's just, the more they give, the more they throw at him and give to him, the stronger he gets. And I'm like, that is literally it. That's literally what's going on. You know, when you face evil and the more evil they throw at you, the more they go after you, the bigger and stronger and tougher you get. It makes evil crazy, and it makes them just go even harder. Not realizing that them going harder just makes you even better. Makes a good man better. I think that on its own explains the psycho mentality of the Democrats going after him despite his numbers going up and all that. Man, so many funny chats here. I want to respond to everybody. Where do I begin? And calls. Anna, I see you in the chat. What's up, Anna? Thanks for catching my daily show. I know you enjoy the Friday Nick streams, and your suggestions and messages have not gone unnoticed. I'm trying to bring some of that energy to the daily show. Some of that Nick stream energy to the daily show. We'll see how this show evolves, but it doesn't go unnoticed. Appreciate you being with us today. Anna Carver asks, the burning question is, what's her citizenship status? You talking about my sister? They're all snow Mexicans up in Canada with legal papers. Don't worry about that. They got papers in Canada. He's an anchor baby from Canada. And what else were you guys saying? You guys are so funny. I got another Rumble rant. Being enlightened till I rise. Thank you for that. Says, I think it's easy to understand evil, but is it easy to understand good? Since no man is good, how could we know without being of God? Interesting Rumble rant, man. Interesting. It makes me think a little bit. That's probably why our human experience is such a mystery at times, because we have to come down all the way down here to the earth. You know, our spirit has to be compressed and put inside a physical body. And it has to, some call it the veil. Some call it the veil, right? Your human experience, the limiting experience of your human experience, the limitations of your knowledge being cut off from the source, your limitations of your physical form, all of those limitations, they call it the veil. And that veil probably is the source of a lot of mystery and confusion to our experience, and why it might be hard to understand what is good. But more and more, I'm starting to see we really are all, when you take away the physical, the ego, the incarnation, all that, what's left is the light. And so if I'm following this logic here, then that means we are all the light all the time. We're never not the light. So you're saying, since no man is good, how can we know without being of good? But actually, we are all of good. You know what I'm saying? Our true selves. Anyways, that's something we all have to discover on our own here. If I had the full, unadulterated answer for you, I would tell you. I wouldn't keep it from you guys. But we're doing our little discoveries, right? Wow, I feel like there were so many people chats. I'm trying to respond to everybody. Okay, we got to keep it moving, y'all. Appreciate the rants, the super chats, and the support. You guys rock. You guys are still calling in. Why don't we just rock these calls? Let's finish these calls up and finish the show. We'll leave the topics for tomorrow. Okay. Anna, what do you think about the energy a little bit? Have you seen a little bit of a change in the daily show? It's kind of new. I'll keep working at it. But I remember your comments. I love it. Justin, Fullerton, California. You're on the air, sir. Thank you.
Hey, I just wanted to say how you doing today, Nick.
All is well, sir. No complaints. We're rocking and rolling here. It's kind of a chill show today. Enjoying it nonetheless. And yourself?
No hurricanes. We're not in the Ukraine. You know, it's all good.
That's true. That's true.
So I kind of am calling in a phrase now. I think people should remember diversity. Or you can even reverse it. Actually, better right now. Exclusivity is the new diversity.
Exclusivity is the new diversity. Okay, go on. What do you mean?
Yeah, meaning to say, like, here, case in point, NASCAR has got a new diversity internship program where they want to not just say we're limiting whites, you know, but they're just trying to say they're giving a tuition free if you are not white. What do you think about that?
Exclusivity is the new diversity. Clearly it is. And some people might think, oh, like, whatever, you're just saying they're the real racists. But as tired as that might feel sometimes, it doesn't make it any less true. And it's not so much that they're the real racists, it's just that everything they blame others for, they are, right? Everything they accuse others for, you know what I'm saying? They are. They're the intolerant ones. They're all that.
Yeah, like the first thought that pops in my mind is Biden. He's a treasonous person to have election fraud and tampering with an election as one position, and then there is the inverse where there's a projection saying, "Oh no, you're insurgent, you know, instigator or something." What? Like, there's been no rebellion. There's been no, you know, January 6 people have been in prison wrongly, obviously, because they were invited in there. They weren't restricted, but there's definitely, in my opinion, a projection in the inverse with the Biden corrupt family, you know, and they have gotten away with a lot of things. They're similar to that of a mafia, you know. So it makes no surprise to me, in my mind, to see that the places like Barinska and the energy companies that they do business with, Trump said he never would do any loans to give any, you know, quote unquote business to them because they're a corrupt country.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting, but it just seems like all this stuff, corruption and all this, it seems like it's been going on. You know, you're talking about this, you know, 2020 and all that. It's crazy it's an important moment because I think a lot of us woke up to this fact, and the fact is that things haven't been on the up and up for a while. You know what I mean?
For sure. For a long while, it's been all these people that have been getting away with it. Look at Biden for 50 years being able to do what he did. Case in point, projection in the inverse. He's trying to go after all the crackheads and saying you're going to be in prison if you do crack, even with a certain amount. Whatever the amount was, they were going to do like a lot of time. And yet his own son is the biggest crackhead that abuses cocaine and, you know, definitely has a problem. I think there's a lot of hypocrisy that's been allowed to be able to progenerate throughout the existence of the party. Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying it's MAGA, but I'm saying something else is needed, a third party or some type of a dismantling. And you know, if and when President Trump gets the authority to go ahead and do it, he shouldn't really just focus after Hillary for prison. He should go after for treason the Biden president, quote unquote, the Obama president, quote unquote, and show what a real president can do, and get them all lined up, get all their attorneys lined up, and show who the real voter fraud people are. I mean, if there's boxes and boxes of voting election places just to put a ballot in, and there's been evidence that through cameras, there's been people that do it multiple times and hundreds of instances where they're dropping off hundreds and hundreds of ballots, you know, it's a voter fraud. And so that's the only fraud that I think, if you've done a crime,
I can't prove any of this.
Time.
I can't prove or know any of what you're talking about, my friend.
Well, the documentary I recommend you look at might help you. It's 2,200 Mules. Or sorry, 2,000 Mules.
I've heard about this.
I've watched it. It's great. Yeah.
Evil documentary full of lies.
Yeah, you can see cameras. Not so much the lying that they talk about, but there's perceptions. But when you see videotape of individuals doing it like that, and you see that there's dead people that are voting, and you see there's corruption that way, I don't think I think the inverse is true, that they're projecting, and the actual hypocrisy is the RICO law for the Biden regime, for the Obama regime.
RICO charges.
The
Let's
banksters,
go.
All of
when Trump is I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
When Trump becomes president, it's crystal knocked time.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, sir. Yes, sir. God willing.
I disavow all crystal knocked, but it's time for crystal knocked. Metaphorically speaking, of course. I'm talking politically and spiritually.
Well, like you had the last caller, Negro Astrodamus or something.
Negrodamus. RDR. We still rolling
cool.
with Trump.
I mean, all we need is about 10 more of them in every district, and this country would get right real quick. And I think more and more people in America are realizing that Trump was the best antidote. And there's still, really, as I say, there's no president currently, president-like or like-ish that is out there that is actually worthy of becoming a president. There's no one. I mean, who else can compete against Trump?
Yeah.
So if he comes out of it, great. But the will of the people have got to be more conscientious about what their kids are learning in school, what their country stands for, and be more adamant about their own identity. Which should only be, you're identifying. If you're American, you're American. No matter you got it or you're here now, and so let's make it be the best country it was meant to be.
Yeah, Trump is definitely like that, and I appreciate that about him. I have my own thoughts and all that. We talk about anchor babies, this or that, and all that. But I really appreciate Trump. I don't want him to change. He wants America for all, and that makes sense to me.
He didn't make a miracle drug or anything like that, but he did make warp speed drive, and that helped a lot of people that needed it. But I don't think that. I think if anything, he shouldn't have promoted it as much, because that was his only downfall, really, Fauci. Yeah, he should really arrest Fauci. Yeah.
Right on, man. Well, Justin, always a pleasure, man. Last thing you want to say before we move the wheels, sir?
Just remember, God is good, and he's good all the time, so be good to all those around you all the time.
Justin, thank you for your call, man. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Ooh, sorry about that. Moving the wheels. Dang, y'all, we hit the topics. We got the calls, the super chats. I'm talking with you guys in the chat. Did we just have ourselves a show? Huh? What do you guys think? I think we had ourselves a show. So I appreciate all the callers. You guys kept the show going for today. That was fun. I love talking to the callers. We love the callers, right? We love these callers. And I will be doing some of these topics tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. That's American Anchor Baby tomorrow at 12, Wednesday. We also got Wow Hassan. You don't want to miss it. If you missed that first episode, tomorrow is going to be another banger. Wow Hassan on YouTube. That's Wow Hassan on YouTube, or at Walking on Water Hassan on YouTube. He'll be live tomorrow at 11. And, of course, the Hake Report. We all love the Hake Report. And the Jesse Lee Peterson Show tomorrow, Wednesday, Manhood Hour. We had ourselves a show, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Spoiler alert coming in strong with the links for Hassan's channel in the chat. If you don't know how to find it, it's in the chat. Thank you, spoiler alert. Guys, ladies, gentlemen, I am grateful. I'm thankful. We will be back tomorrow. Right? And that's it from me, y'all. Take care. Have a nice rest of your Tuesday. Bye.
Whether you like them or don't like them, it's nothing you can do about it. Whether you like them or don't like them, it's nothing you can do about it, because he's number one.